All right, welcome back everyone to Pause and Talk. I am your host, Cassandra Nordal, and today I have with me the lovely Kelly Halonen. I'm super excited to introduce you as Kelly Halonen because the last time you were on the show, you were Kelly Graham. Kelly has gotten, she was married and last year, and it was a pandemic wedding, and so it was very interesting. She is a registered social worker and she is with Kelly Mental Health and obviously Kelly Mental Health Foundation, which is a local non-for-profit located in Thunder Bay, Ontario here. So thank you, Kelly, for joining us today.
Having me, or us, I should say.
Yes, I was going to say, so Kelly has a lovely little guest with us today, so we're kind of excited. So please introduce your guest that you have.
So this is Max Halonen. He is 3 months old now, and he's huge for 3 months, so he's going to be a big boy.
He
But
is. He
we've
is
had him
literally
for
huge.
about 2-3 weeks now.
Wow. So tell me the process. So obviously, you adopted him during a pandemic. Now, was that difficult? And how did that kind of work?
So this is the first time I've actually adopted a dog through a rescue, so I didn't really know any different. To me, it wasn't too difficult. We were deciding, okay, should we get a dog? And then my husband gave me the go ahead because I'm always down to get a dog. So I saw his picture. His name was originally Zen, and he's from Northern Critters in Need. And I just fell in love with him. He was adorable and so cute. And I was like, okay, well, we'll send in an application and just see what happens. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. If not, then that's okay too. And more puppies kept coming up. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll shoot in an application for them too. So I think I put in like 3 or 4 applications. But
yeah,
I always went back to him, and I was always looking at his pictures. And we applied right around Christmas. So, of course, it takes a few days because everybody's dealing with Christmas. And then I'm just like, oh, are we going to hear? I don't know. I shouldn't get my hopes up. But then Pam actually contacted me. And she made it sound like we got him, but I wasn't sure yet. Like, can I get excited or not yet? I don't know. What was different was we had to do a virtual home visit. So,
oh, interesting. Okay, so I'm going to pause you really quick. So where did you adopt him through? Sorry, I just want to confirm.
I got him through Northern Critters in Need.
Okay, so Northern Critters in Need, and they are located in Thunder Bay, this rescue?
Yeah, they're also in Ignace.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. That's good to know. Okay, so you were contacted by one of the recruiters through this, and so you had to do a virtual home visit. So how did that kind of go?
So that was weird. So of course, FaceTime, you're just kind of showing them around the house, and of course it's right after Christmas, so you're trying to like clean your house so it looks happy.
This is a safe space. There's not wrapping everywhere.
So you just kind of show them around and bring them around your house and on your phone. So that was a little weird. Then you have to take them in the backyard and show them your backyard.
Show them your backyard.
They're like, yeah, everything looks good. We'll be in contact about when you can pick them up and sign the forms and everything. And yeah,
that's awesome. So it was a bit of a different process, obviously, but I mean, it kind of worked out in the end. I was actually always wondering that, because I know that, from interviewing and working, in the animal welfare world here in Thunder Bay, there are a lot of home visits being done. So I was kind of curious how that worked through a pandemic. So gotta love virtual chats, eh? It works out well. So now I want to get into a little bit more of a difficult topic. So obviously you had your lovely Jude for a very long time. So now I want you to talk about Jude just in general, and then we'll kind of go into depth here.
So I got Jude when I was, let's say like 15 or 16. And that was my first dog. Ever since I could talk, I was asking for a dog. My mom's always like, no. And then eventually she's just like, okay, so are we getting a dog? Because we actually had a family friend who was a breeder. So we're like, okay. So we got Jude, and he was handful for the first few years of his life.
What type of dog was he, if you don't mind me asking for our viewers?
He was a beagle.
Okay.
He was a beagle, and he was adorable. Instantly, we clung together. I mean, I remember our first vet visit. He's just like on me. We're on the table. He's on the examination table, and he had to be touching me, or he'd like walk off the table. And he just became my instant best friend, soulmate, everything. Mm-hmm. He's helped me through so much in my life, and he was just the love of my life before I met my husband.
Yeah. So unfortunately you lost Jude last year, and I know that was completely devastating for you. So I want to talk a little bit more about that if you're okay. But talking about, you know, how that kind of happened, losing an animal, and how to deal with grief. You know, animals become a part of our family, and I say that all the time. I call my two cats my kids. And some people don't understand that. Like my aunt, she doesn't understand it. But even for my family, we just recently lost my fur niece, I call her. And so it's really difficult. She was 10, and you know, my family's really struggling right now, and they're just heartbroken. You know, they have a lot of loss in their life, and they still have their well, I call him a puppy, but he's just a tank. They have their Dalmatian. And he's a handful. So let's talk a little bit more about that and your experience with this.
So actually in September, he ended up having a seizure.
Okay.
And that was the first time he had ever had a seizure.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was the end.
Oh.
We brought him in, and they couldn't figure out what it was unless like we went to go do testing in Toronto and Winnipeg, and it's a pandemic. He was going to be 13. I mean, we weren't going to put him through that.
Yeah, that's a lot, not only on the animal to travel, but for you guys. And then I wouldn't even know how to really work that because of the quarantine. You know what I mean? That's a lot to take on. How did you handle that? Like making that decision must have been really difficult. I've never known that. So how did you handle that?
The vet was actually amazing.
Okay.
So we ended up having to go in an emergency situation because whenever he ended up getting sick, it was always on the weekends or in the middle of the night. You know, never.
Of course, never during Monday to Friday, 9 to 5.
And you know, even if we did find out what it was, the chances that we could do something about it, the chances that we would put him through something. Like she said, we could put him on anti-seizure medication, but he's only had one, and the side effects could be bad for him. Yeah. Like the side effects aren't just easy side effects, and he's already pretty old. He already had 2 surgeries in his life. He tore his ACL and he had bladder stones.
Oh wow!
And then he had to get his balls cut off.
So neutered.
Neutered. And he, you know, he didn't like recovering from that. That was a stressful time for him. So the last thing we want to do is add more stress, especially when he's older. It was more quality of life than trying to just sustain his life for us. Yeah. So he actually ended up being fine after that for a long time. He made it to our wedding. So we actually got married on October 3rd, which was Jude's birthday. I may have chosen it that way.
And what role did he play in the wedding?
He was the ring bearer.
There we go. I wanted everyone to know.
I had worked it into the wedding ceremony. I had the officiant say it was Jude's birthday and everything.
He looks very handsome. I must say he not as pretty, you know, as the bride, but I mean it was him and Matt. It was a close, you know, call between the two.
It really was, yeah. So he made it, and I was so grateful for that. And then end of November, he was showing symptoms that he had bladder stones again. So he brought him in, and they found a giant tumor, like the size of his stomach.
Oh my gosh.
I forget exactly what it's called, but it was a tumor that grows on the spleen. So it's very fast growing. Most people don't know it's there until a complication comes up from it.
That's what happened. Very similar what happened to my family member's dog. Yeah, she was fine around Christmas time and running and playing around, and the next thing you know, they brought her in because she stopped eating, and everything went downhill. It was crazy what a week difference did. Yeah.
And he said, there is the option of surgery, but even that would give him maybe an extra month or two.
Yeah.
Maybe 3.
And I think, making that decision, I think, is one of many very difficult decisions to make, especially because you and that animal, like you've been in each other's lives for so long, you become family, like we kind of talked about. So what are some things like coping skills that you can recommend to others that are going through this type of loss right now? Or maybe if they're preparing to maybe, put their animal down or their animal's getting older, what are some coping skills you can offer to our viewers?
The biggest thing for me was being able to say goodbye to him. Now it comes.
It's okay.
So after we got the diagnosis that he was palliative, we knew that we didn't have long. He ended up going within that week.
Wow.
Ended up having more seizures, and then we had to make the decision to put him down.
Yeah.
But after that, I was able to sit with him and have a conversation and thank him for everything.
Yeah.
Thank him for being there.
Yeah.
And everything. And some people don't get that opportunity because it happens fast or it could be like a car accident.
Yeah.
But that really helped. And having supportive people in my life to lean on, big thing. Because he wasn't just my dog. He was also my mom's and my sister's for a good chunk of their lives.
Yeah. So he was literally a family dog, family. He was family. So, I got to hear there too. I still feel your emotion, Kelly. Like, and I just from meeting him, like he was so sweet. And so I know losing, an animal is very difficult. And I think now I didn't really discuss this with you prior to this, but I'm kind of going to throw something at you. So did you feel any guilt for for rescuing Max? You did, eh?
100%.
And is that, and I don't like to use the word normal, but is that kind of normal, is that like a normal emotion for people to go through? Because I feel like even for myself, like when I lost a cat a few years ago now, Pandora, and I was like my male, he just needs someone else with him. And so, but I waited so long because I felt so guilty. And so is that a normal thing that people go through? And
yeah, I did a lot of Googling, a lot of looking out to other people, and it absolutely is, because you feel like you're replacing them.
Exactly. Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing is realizing you're not replacing them. You're giving home to another animal. You're spreading more love. You're doing it in honor of them.
I was just going to say, yeah.
What helped me is one reason I connected to Max was he was born on October 3rd.
Yes, I love that story.
So
see, I
felt like it was meant to be, and I felt like it was Jude sending me something.
Yeah. And I love that. And that makes my heart so full. Like I think about it too, like, there's certain situations that, come up to us in our lives and our lives. And, I think like that because I just think that things happen for reasons sometimes. So I love that. I remember you telling me, that was his birthday. And so I was like, oh, that's a sign. So I think things happen for reasons, not everything. And that's just my one opinion of a volunteer host. Hello. But I don't know. It just makes me feel a little bit better, knowing that. And I know that helped you. And I believe that because I think that is such a special story. And I really wanted you to talk about that. So we're going to kind of move on a little bit to pet therapy. Kelly Mental Health Foundation, you and Linda Kelly actually were on our show in our lovely Shaw studio that, we no longer have. Now we're here in my office and you're here at home. But so long story short, you guys came onto our show, I guess, 2 years ago now. Yeah, that's crazy. 2 years going strong. So I mean, we discussed pet therapy and we went more in depth before, but I really want to remind our viewers. So, especially being in a pandemic right now, is pet therapy important? And I will state, I'm not asking this to lead into everyone needs to go and adopt an animal, because I don't agree with that. A lockdown is a lockdown. I don't want to take away, I want people to still, be responsible pet owners. But what is pet therapy for people that don't know, and is it important, Kelly?
So, pet therapy is the use of animals to help people feel better. Mm-hmm. There's different types. So, there's service dogs, which can help with PTSD, or if somebody has epilepsy, if they're blind. There's therapy dogs. So, that's like the St. John's ambulance dogs. And you'll see them, go into long-term care homes or schools, and people can pet them and really just helps them feel better. Mm-hmm. And then there's emotional support animals. So that's kind of what helps you feel better. So he's kind of my emotional support animal when I'm feeling anxious. Come and bite me because he's a puppy. So I actually think, we've actually heard some articles about, especially in the States, how shelters and everything at the beginning of the pandemic just got cleared out because everybody was going and adopting or fostering a dog. Because especially if you're living alone, I mean, it's hard during lockdown.
Yeah.
You don't have that connection. So I think dogs or cats or really any animal is a great way to have that connection, to have that, I'm stuck in the house for the 29th day. What do I do? Hey, let's get a dog and go out and walk him. Yeah. That was another reason why I got him too, is I'm out of shape. I spent a month grieving and eating food. I need to get back into shape, and what better way than a puppy to try and walk?
Run around with him. I think that's I think that's really important, even for myself. I was having the puppy fever, so I will tell everyone this. I was having puppy fever, and I have been for a long time. So I decided to foster 4 puppies through Northern Reach Rescue Network. And I'll tell you, I loved every one of them separately. I thought I just was obsessed with them. But I was happy when they were sent to Southern Ontario to their forever homes. And the reason why I say this is because I think fostering is very, very important, especially like how you said, if we are, in lockdown, we're staying at home and stuff like that. But I still want people to be, responsible, like at the end of the day. So if you are having puppy fever, we have a million rescues in, here locally. So there's tons. Contact them, fill out a foster form, because you could potentially, it might just be a little fever of a puppy feeling, or you just learn. I think it's a great way to learn. It's a great way to help out the rescues, to relieve some stress. I think it's a great opportunity as well to help out the shelters and our like our city. So definitely to look into it. So I didn't mean to cut you off. I just really wanted to get that out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
and I have clients who have like, hey, you know what? I'm going to foster a dog, even if they already have dogs, because they're like, why not? I have the time. I'm home. What better time to try and do it?
Yeah. I'm noticing a lot of mom and pups and felines, like mom felines and kittens right now. It's kind of coming into that season, right? So a lot of the rescues will sit there, they'll train you, and they'll, walk you through the process. I know some, they ask, to find more skills. Oh, Max is having a fun time. So see, this is what happens, guys. There's never a dull moment in Kelly's life when you adopt a puppy. So I think, there's lots of opportunities right now locally in town. Even if you are watching this on YouTube, you can, check out your local rescues in the city, like wherever you're located, because there's so many opportunities to help. So, and obviously we kind of talked about, pet therapy and everything like that. So what are some things that it does for you, mentally and like physically? Like, does it help your body, like pet therapy and stuff like that, and spending time with animals?
So pet therapy, when they're not biting you, can actually releases oxytocin. So
Okay.
that's the feel-good love drug in your body. It makes you feel connected. It makes you feel supported. And it actually has been known to lower cardiovascular disease and
Wow.
stress. And yeah, so
Wow.
it helps you really bond and feel that unconditional supportive love.
Yeah. Well, I think everyone would appreciate that in a time of need. So, I mean, obviously, I think it's a good idea, like we kind of discussed, and it's just a lot of work. Would you obviously are very busy. You're up quite early, getting him kind of set up for the day, and has it been difficult? I guess like you've been working from home recently, correct? Is that how it's been?
Both. I do home and office.
Okay. So have you been finding it? Like, are you a little bit more tired lately?
Yeah, because my husband gets up for work at 10 to 6.
Yeah.
So he gets up at 10 to 6. So I get 10 to 6.
Okay. So I think he'll probably go down for a nap soon though, right?
Oh yeah.
Kelly will make sure of it. She's gonna put on like a meditation music in the house and wind him down. All right, Kelly. Well, I really do appreciate you being available to come onto the show today because I know how busy you are with working for both organizations. She's also a board member for Kelly Mental Health Foundation. It's just nonstop, and now you have your new fur kid, and so it's been very busy. So I really do appreciate having you on the show today. So.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And if anybody's looking to help out Kelly Mental Health Foundation, we do have the Light the Way campaign going on, where you can donate to help people get counseling who really need it and can't afford it.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Kelly and Max, for joining us today on another episode of Paws and Talk, brought to you by Shaw Spotlight. I'm super excited. I had a wonderful time chatting with you. If you would like to learn more about the Kelly Mental Health Foundation, you can visit www.kmhfoundation.ca. And if you go under magazine, it'll direct you to multiple articles about animals and stuff like that. So great content on there, and we do really appreciate having you guys. So have a wonderful day, and we will see you again soon. Bye, guys.